Nashi!
What is up, YouTube? This is Nashi with a brand new deck profile video. This time I'll be showing you the changes and updates to my Speedroid Gusto deck. I have been waiting a very long time to give this deck an update and an upgrade because not only has it sorely been needing it, but the new support that Speedroids have gotten have just made this deck so much more fast and so much more fluid. And while the Gustos haven't gotten anything new in a while, that doesn't change the fact that they can take advantage of the exact same generic wind attribute support that the Speedroids got. Let's take a closer look. Starting off with the Speedroid half of the deck, we have one copy of Speedroid Malicious Magnet. When it's normal or special summoned, you can target an opponent's monster that has a level, and then immediately perform a synchro summon using that opponent's monster as material as well as Malicious Magnet. 3 Speedroid Takatomborg. If I control a wind monster, I can special summon it from my hand, though I can only do this hard once per turn, and I can also tribute it to special summon any Speedroid tuner monster from my deck, but during the turn I do this, I am locked into wind attribute monsters only. 1 Speedroid Terror Top. If I control no monsters, I can special summon it from my hand, and if I successfully normal or special summon it, I can add any Speedroid monster from my deck to my hand. 1 Speedroid Triad Dice. A level 3 tuner that can banish itself from the graveyard to negate any attack. And 1 Speedroid Double YuGiOh. When I normal summon it, I can special summon any level 3 or lower Speedroid monster from my graveyard. Now moving into the Gusto half of the deck, we have 3 Gusto Eggle, a simple 1-star tuner that if destroyed by battle, pulls any level 4 or lower non-tuner Gusto monster from the deck. We also have 2 of the 2-star Winda. If she's destroyed by battle by an opponent's attacking monster, I can special summon any Gusto tuner monster from my deck. 3 Gusto Goldo, the most useful tuner in the entire archetype. When it is destroyed by any means and sent to the graveyard, I can special summon any level 2 or lower Gusto monster from my deck. It can be a tuner or a non-tuner. A playset of Pilica, probably the most recent support that Gusto has ever received. If she's normal or special summoned, I can special summon any wind attribute tuner monster from my graveyard, but during the turn I do this, I am locked into only being able to special summon wind monsters for the rest of the turn. And 1 Cam Serenity of Gusto. By returning any 2 Gusto monsters back to the main deck and shuffling, I get to draw a card as a soft once per turn. Next we move into the spell cards. First off, we have a playset of Call by the Grave, a staple in pretty much everyone's deck I think these days. A pair of Contact with Gusto. You target 2 Gusto monsters in your graveyard and a card your opponent controls, shuffling your targets back into the deck, then destroying your opponent's target. A playset of Creature Swap, probably the card that ticks people off the most when it comes to my build, forcing both players to trade control of a monster they control. 1 copy of Emergency Teleport, which special summons any level 3 or lower Psychic monster from my deck, but banishes it during the end phase. Monster Reborn, stable card in pretty much every deck I own. 2 MST, because discarding does not really help this deck. 2 Quill Pen of Goldos, a more generic version of Contact with Gusto. By returning any 2 wind monsters in the graveyard to the deck, I can target any card on the field and return it to the owner's hand. And 1 Raigeki, which is now basically in every deck I own, thanks to my wife Alice. For the trap cards, I have 1 Solemn Warning, staple. A playset of Super Team Buddy Force Unite. Awkward name, useful card. I can target any monster on the field and special summon a monster from my hand or my graveyard whose type is the same as the monster I targeted. Also, if this card happens to be destroyed by an opponent's card effect and sent to the graveyard, I can set another copy of it straight from my deck. I was debating on either this or Speed Lift, but the second effect is the main reason I'm still using this card over Speed Lift. And 2 Switcheroo. If both players have the same number of monsters on the field, we exchange control of all monsters we control. I was running 3, but I started realizing that it's just really inconvenient to be forced to play the same number of monsters as the opponent when this deck doesn't special summon a lot. Next we move into the fairly generic side deck. I have a playset of Herald of the Abyss. The playset of Shared Ride. There's also a playset of Gozen Match. A playset of Solemn Johnson, which is hilarious that it's finally been released back to 3 in the game. And a playset of Solemn Strike. And finally, we finish up with the extra deck. First we have 1 copy of Daigusto Goldos. Once per turn, you can shuffle 2 Gusto monsters from your graveyard into your main deck to target a face-up monster your opponent controls and destroy it. As a generic 5-star, I have hi-speedroid Chambara. It can make a second attack during each battle phase. If it battles at all, it gains 200 attack, and if it's sent to the graveyard, I can add any banished Speedroid monster back to my hand, but I can only special summon it once per turn. 2 Daigustos Freeze, the most famous Gusto card in the entire archetype. When it's synchro summoned, you can target a Gusto card in your grave and put it back in your hand, cannot destroy this card in battle, and most importantly, any battle damage you would take from a Gusto monster is inflicted to your opponent instead. 1 hi-speedroid Kendama. It does piercing battle damage, and once per turn I can either banish a machine monster from my graveyard and inflict 500 damage to my opponents, or if it's in my graveyard and I control no cards, I can special summon it, but I cannot normal summon or set the turn I activate this effect. A much better 6-star option would be the generic Stardust Charge Warrior. When synchro summoned, it lets me draw a card, which is the main reason I run it, and it can also attack all special summon monsters the opponent controls once each. But with 2000 attack, it's not going to be doing that very often. 1 Clearwing Synchro Dragon, my generic 7-star. During either player's turn, when another level 5 or higher monster activates its effect, you can negate it, and if you do, destroy it. And during other player's turn, when a monster effect is activated that targets any level 5 or higher monster on the field, you can negate that and destroy that as well. And best of all, if either of this card's effects negates and destroys a card, he gains attack points equal to the monster that he destroyed, until the end phase. I also have 1 copy of Daigusto Eggles. Once per turn during your end phase, you can banish any wind monster from your grave to target a face-down card the opponent controls and destroy it. Crystal Wing Synchro Dragon can negate any monster's effect during either player's turn, destroy it, and if it does so, it gains attack equal to the attack of the monster it negated and destroyed until the end phase. And if it battles an opponent's level 5 or higher monster, it gains attack equal to that monster during damage calculation only. And there's also hi-speedroid Kite Drake. If it's synchro summoned, you can either destroy all other cards on the field, or negate the effects of all face-up cards the opponent controls permanently. And if it happens to be sent to the graveyard by an opponent's card, you can add any Speedroid monster from your deck to your hand. Now I do still run the rank 3 Totem Bird, but I don't use it hardly at all anymore. During either player's turn, when a spell trap is activated, I can double detach to negate its activation and destroy it, but if it has no materials, it loses 300 attack points. I'm also running the generic Great Fly. Boosts all wind monsters by 500 attack and defense, reduces all earth monsters by 400 attack and defense, and if it is destroyed and sent to the graveyard, I can add any wind monster in my graveyard back to my hand. And finally, hi-speedroid Rubber Band Shooter. During your main phase, it allows you to gain an additional normal summon of a wind monster, but you cannot special summon monsters from the extra deck for the rest of the turn, except synchros. You can also banish a wind synchro monster from your extra deck, and reveal 2 Speedroid monsters with different names from your deck, letting your opponent pick one at random. The one they pick gets put to your hand, the other one goes to the graveyard. And that is the deck. I'm gonna be honest, I don't really know what more I can do to make Speedroid Gustos any better than they are. They might have actually hit their theoretical limit as to how far they can be advanced forward. And that's not to say I'm not gonna keep trying, especially since we're gonna be getting more Speedroid support soon, specifically the Pendulums. But I might be trying other wind archetypes in the meantime, just to see if there's anything that piques my interest. The new Simurgh archetype looks interesting, but I'm not gonna lie, it just looks like a bunch of wind attribute monarchs, but I'm willing to at least give them a try. I thank you guys for watching the deck profile, and if you can think of any ways that I can improve this all-wind deck, feel free to let me know. In the meantime, this has been Anashi, signing out.